Notice is hereby given of a regular meeting of the City of San Angelo Development Corporation to be held on May 22nd, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. at the East Mezzanine of City Hall, 72 West College Avenue, San Angelo, Texas, for the purpose of considering the following agenda items. Number one, we'll call the meeting to order. It is 8:34. Director Mantuf, will you please lead us in prayer?
Will you bow with me, please? Gracious God, we bow before you this morning, recognizing your spirit in this place, and we ask your blessing on these conversations, these decisions, that they may be pleasing to you. We pray all this in your most holy name. Amen.
Amen. Public comment number three. Issues or items that are not on the agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, begin by stating their name, and limit remarks to less than 3 minutes. Board members may request that a discussed item be placed on a future agenda. The board takes public comment on all regular agenda items during the discussion of those items. Do we have public comment?
Jamal Shumpert, single member, District Number 2.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Mantuf? Yeah, actually one of my favorite commentators are here. NFL, NBA, regardless, I like you for high school. You do a good job supporting our podcast. I appreciate that. So, there we go. Okay. First thing I want to talk about was, in the past, none of y'all was on this board during this time, but there were 6 park and recreation projects I think were undertaken without meeting, and it has to have a meeting. Y'all weren't on the board. I don't think that'll be a major problem moving forward, but last night, I stayed up and I was looking over things for your future agenda items, and I thought this would be more important. Maybe we could look into setting up a program with mechatronics with the high school and the college, because moving forward, a lot of the skills trades jobs will be ate up by robots, and the people working on robots will need a mechatronics degree because the robots will come with a software program. The mechatronics degree teaches them the software part of the program, as well as the electrical components of the program and the mechanical maintenance of the robot. So moving forward in the future, 10, 20 years from now, when we got all these humanoid robots and actually factory robots, they won't be required. I mean, mechanics and electricians probably won't be hired for it because mechatronics is actually a degree and thing moving forward. There are many other things I need to talk about, but it's been a long week. Thank you.
Okay. All right, appreciate it, Jamal. Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one.
Okay, do we have any additional public comment? Or Mike?
Are you going to talk about
Yeah.
what Mike just told me about SME?
No, in fact, you want to talk about that? Go ahead. You can address that, because
Well,
I wish.
I'll add to it if I need to.
Mike said they're already working on something through SME Prime related to robotics at the high schools. And go ahead. If you want more detail, they're already working on something.
Right, so he had suggested that the high schools work on setting up a mechatronics program, teach kids robotics in the high schools. Well, you guys supported the SME Prime program with funding. That was one of the career pathways that they created, was mechatronics, bought all new robotics kits. So it's good that you brought it up, but it's already taken care of.
Cool, awesome. And is that affiliated with Goodfellow? Because I know Goodfellow is doing something similar. I know they have in the past.
They've got their own program.
Okay.
This is part of creating a career pathway inside the existing career and technical education program. So
Okay.
that actually concluded last year, so it's full bore going forward.
Okay. And is Ethicon involved in that? Because I think they have something as well.
Who's that?
Ethicon?
Yeah, so the entities that funded that program were Ethicon, Principal Industries, COCDC, and the Chamber.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I wanted to, he left, but I wanted to thank Mr. Jamal for coming out and making these comments. You know, he's kind of one of the few people that I've noticed come to the COCDC meetings who's a citizen civilian who comes out and actively participates in the dialogue, and that's very important. Having somebody who studies what we do as economic developers and as a community, his input is actually very valuable. And he left before I could grab him. I tried to find him because we have several task force appointments that that people with that level of interest can participate in, and those those participatory inputs are very important for guiding programs like what Mike Berry just talked about, the SME Prime program, the workforce development programs done with Howard College, SAISD, and with ASU. So wanted to salute him, and hopefully he'll come back today so we can talk to him a little bit more about potential task force appointments. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Michael. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda, number 4. A, consider approving the regular meeting minutes from April 24, 2024. B, consider approving the necessary corporation disbursement. C, consider approving the April 2024 financials. And D, consider approving a lease agreement by and between the City of San Angelo Development Corporation and Angelo Networks, and authorizing the board president or their designee, not designer, there's a little typo there, to execute all necessary documents. So do we have a motion?
I make a motion to to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, so, yes, any discussion? If not, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Thank you. All right, we will move on to item 5, the regular agenda. A, consider appointing a president, first vice president, and second vice president for the City of San Angelo Development Corporation. Presentation by Michael Dane.
Good morning, Michael Dane, Interim Economic Development Director. This is just about selecting 3 new officers for the next year. And that is totally at the board's discretion. And
Okay. I would say all those in favor, take a step forward, and I'm moving back.
Nora, if you'll note,
So,
the new
y'all
slate
three?
of officers.
Cool. All right. Well, it's this time of the year, so obviously we currently have our first vice president, second vice president. So I would assume or hope that they would ascend to the next step up, and this would be maybe about appointing a second vice president. That would just be my feedback, but welcome discussion from the board. No?
Forgive my ignorance, but are you rolling off the board?
No, I stay on through February, so my term would be up in February. So if I were to serve as president, I wouldn't finish my term because I'm termed out come February. So we would need to appoint someone to do a full year, because I guess it would start June, so it'd be June to kind of May-ish. I don't know.
So just to be clear, you do not want to serve as president for another term?
I think 3 years is good. I'll still stay on the board and obviously support and so forth, but I think it's time for someone to take the helm.
Did I hear commitment to serve indefinitely on the board?
Per the bylaws, unfortunately. Yeah, but
I'm very pleased to have the current members move up and select Dr. Gomez as second vice president if she is willing to serve. I don't like appointing members who are not present.
I think that's I think mandatory for them to participate. I think they should be. Hey, I think we're missing 3. I think that we could be, that could be the new president, vice president, and second. But, I mean, obviously, yeah,
If we're not all comfortable with that, then I would recommend that we postpone this to the next meeting. Table this decision to the next meeting when more can be present.
Michael, have you had anyone interested or express any interest?
They're lined up at the door.
Around the corner?
Nobody has come to me and expressed interest, but they've also not come to me and said, count me out, except for you. The other thing, if I think somebody mentioned something about the current slate moving up. if two of those people are present, if you wanted to appoint those two and then have a discussion about that second vice president at a future meeting, I think that could also happen. So I think from our perspective, we're open to the board's pleasure. We're planning to have a June meeting regardless, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. I'm good with that, especially considering that following this meeting, we're going to have a strategic planning meeting, and I think it would help facilitate that if we know who's going to kind of be at the helm, going forward.
We've got a good crew, and we just talked about a connection with SAISD. So if Dr. Gomez was interested, she'd be great. But we got great candidates across the board. We've got people who understand the city from an internal perspective. Carlos has a broad base of understanding, and Joe has worked with us for a while. He'd be great too. So, we got a good crew right now, worth every bit of what we pay them.
Cool. All right. So I would entertain a motion if y'all are interested if Dr. Jones wants to ascend from first vice president to president, and Director Bantief, if you're good with going from second vice president to first president, we could kind of do that, and then unless Dr. Gomez is interested in second, or if not, we can have a discussion and do rock, paper, scissors when the rest of the board members come.
Well, I will make that motion.
It's a major item on a resume. Major item on a resume.
I know all about those resumes.
So I think the way to avoid being nominated is actually to make the motion to nominate the other two.
Listen, I know what happens when you do that, though, as well.
I'll make the motion for the current slate to move up and table the discussion of second vice president.
Okay. All right. And do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. Do we have any further discussion on that? If not, okay. And any public comment on that? No? Bueller? No? All right. Well, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. All right. Thank you. And congratulations or condolences.
Congratulations.
All right. Item B, discuss impossible action regarding the previously approved allocation of $110,000 for the business plan competition and request an additional increase of $2,000 for expenses. Presentation by Nora Navarez.
Good morning, Board. Nora Navarez, Economic Development Coordinator. You may recall back last year in June, the board had approved $110,000, and 100 of that was to be the, oops, I forgot the clicker. 100 of that was going to be the prize, and the proposed discussion was that first place would be 60, 25, and 15, or first place 60, 30, and 10,000. Along with the other coordinators, we had discussed, that we wanted to kind of really change it up a little bit more. That first set of numbers, that's pretty enticing right there. And we're hoping that our entries will be a lot more. Last year we had 38. And so we're proposing to kind of change it to 50,000, 30,000, and 20. Myself as being one of the coordinators for the business plan competition and ASU Small Business Development Center, we talked about it. We kind of felt that 50, 30, and 20,000 would be really enticing because of third place, bumping it up more from 10,000 to 20,000. So I just wanted to give that input to you, and if you want to provide any input as to that. Now, the reason we're here today is because of that 10,000. The 10,000 helps with the marketing. So I need an additional 2,000 to complete the expenses. We have a different marketing firm now, and the marketing firm has great ideas, pushing it out. We had town hall meetings last year, and also it was English and bilingual. So we really did get to reach out even more. Plus, we had billboards. So I really feel that the cost and the new ideas can bring in more entries for us. With that said, if there's anything else,
So you're seeking a
An
action
addition.
from the board to ratify this adjusted prize funding schedule and to add $2,000 to the $10,000 for expenses?
correct.
Well, I'll move approval of that request.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a first by Dr. Jones, second by Dr. Gomez. Do we have any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Public
comment? Where's Brandon? All right, do we have any public comment? No? Okay, any discussion from the board? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I'm going to abstain, and I want to tell you why. My company is a partner in the prize.
In the
delivery.
in-kind,
Sorry?
in the in-kind.
An in-kind partner in the prize delivery, and so I will abstain from that
All right,
discussion.
well then I guess we
We're
don't
short a
have,
quorum then.
yeah, we're not on have a
No,
quorum.
we can't make the
Okay,
motion.
We'll bring it back.
okay,
Okay,
We'll bring it back.
we have some time.
okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you, Nora, for the information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, well then we'll move on to item 6, follow-up and administrative issues. A, consideration and possible action of items discussed in closed session which are not applicable. B, announcement and consideration of future agenda items, and we're going to bring that item back. And also the second vice president discussion. All right, is there anything else?
When we adjourn this meeting, we will we will relocate to the BRC in the Dave Erickson Training Room, and we will bring that meeting to order when we're ready, and that'll be a work session, also a public meeting.
Okay. Sounds good.
So point of order, if during our following strategic planning meeting, we discovered that there are some additional items we'd like to add to the agenda for next month's meeting, could that be done at that time?
Absolutely. In fact, the way we routinely handle that is that if during the month, you don't have to bring them up now, if during the month, 2 weeks from now, you say, hey, I'd like to talk about, can we have an agenda item? It's no problem.
Okay. Any board member can bring up an agenda item at any time, subject prior to the agenda being posted for the following month. Okay. Well, with that said, then we'll. Oh, go ahead, Nora.
Max,
Yes.
Michael Looney asked if you could open up public comment. He wants to give you all a quick update. So if you could just open up for public comment
Okay.
so we can provide that to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Let's do it. Yeah, come on up.
Parliamentary procedures, is that something you can do?
I mean, I guess, we're going to meet at the next, strategic planning, so I don't know if it's. Okay. Yeah, come.
I'll attempt to do it in 60 seconds.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Hi, Michael Looney, Vice President of Economic Development. All right, ready? Time it. Michael Looney, Vice President, Economic Development, San Angelo Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. That concludes. I yield the balance of my comments back to the sitting incoming Vice President. Really quick, the Amazon distribution facility, which is known as an RSR, rural super rural, is under construction. Mike and I visited the construction site. Bob did his own solo fly-by last week. The construction site is moving very quickly. The company that's building it is a company called Catamount. They're out of San Antonio. They've built these RSRs before in the past, so they know how to build them very quickly. This facility is slated to be open in October, so they are moving very quickly. The recent rains did not hinder them at all. In fact, actually, it just cut down on the dust. So we've built a relationship with the construction team, with Catamount, and they're very pleased with how things are moving along. So far, so good. Again, that's going to be about a 34,000 square foot facility, open for business in October, fully operational in November. So, and one thing I wanted to mention, which I don't know if that was ever transmitted to this body, and that is this is the first RSR of its size in its community, in a community of this size that's brand new. There were 4 others that were tested as a program that Amazon instituted in 2022 called Project Wagon Wheel, which was building mini versions of their fulfillment centers in rural communities. They did 4. The closest one to us and they were all in rented buildings, was in Odessa, one in Arkansas, Nevada, and Florida. Florida was the first. So this is the first brand new one that they've ever built. And that's why Mike and I were kind of joking along with Schneeman and Dane towards the end of the project, getting ready to close it, that the Amazon guys were more excited about this than we were, and we were really excited. And so that's something that they're very proud of achieving, and they wanted us to communicate that publicly. The skilled nursing facility, this is a project that is a 52,000 square foot, $22 million skilled nursing facility on YMCA Drive. So it's a healthcare related development. This is one that we'd worked on for 6 years, and they broke ground a couple of weeks ago, and they're also slated to be open by the end of this year. And that's going to be 90 jobs. Skilled nursing facility is not a retirement home. It is basically a senior age level rehabilitation facility. And it did get the blessing of, at the time, community and also Shannon Hospital in writing. And Project OTR2, this is the Allen's Transport expansion. That was approved yesterday. That project grant, performance-based grant, was approved by City Council yesterday. And when we informed them, they were very, very pleased, very affirmed in their decision to expand their operation in San Angelo. And just wanted to report that to you all. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But I think
we're getting a little beyond
Say
public
again, sir?
comment, I think.
Was that a good public comment?
Yeah.
Was
But I think we're getting real close to
I was
beyond what we can do in public comment.
Oh, am I? Oh, was I? Well, we'll figure out that parliamentary procedure going forward. But I did want to report that, and I really do thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you.
Mike, just a comment real quickly before you leave. While I appreciate your thoroughness, is that a word? Yeah. While I appreciate that and also admire your work, you could not be in the radio business, because if that is your version of 60 seconds, we'd all be in trouble.
It's not, and that's why, even though I've toyed with the idea of coming to the radio station for a side gig, because I love to play music, I've always demurred and thought, you have to be honest with oneself. So anyway, I'll leave my comments at that. I got more to say on that, by the way.
Rick, you're poking the bear.
I thank you, Mike, and I thought Director Mantoof was going to say that you have a face for radio. All right, well, thank you, everyone. So I guess at this point it is 8:57, and we'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move adjournment.
All right, first by Director Jones. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, Director Mantoof. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, we are adjourned. See y'all at 9:30 for the next meeting, strat planning. Thank you.